Hello, my name is Kylie Prince, and this is my PowerPoint presentation about my internship experience that I did at Highland High School in Gilbert, Arizona, in the counseling department. And this was towards my degree of marriage and family. So, how did I find my internship? I actually found this internship through a friend. She recently graduated in the same degree as me, marriage and family. And so I reached out to her and asked her what she did in her internship, and she interned for the counseling department at a local high school, which we both live by. And it's actually the same high school that I graduated from. And she said that the high school loves students that are from BYU or BYU, Idaho, because they have always had good experiences with them. So she suggested that I give them a call and see if there was an opportunity available. So I called the high school counseling department and I spoke with the head counselor. I set up a phone interview with Gene, who is the head of the department, and he asked me a few questions about myself, about things such as what school I went to, what degree I was getting my bachelor's in, and kind of what I was looking for in an internship. And so after the phone interview, he offered me a position as an intern, and I started shortly after that. Some of the responsibilities that I had was doing credit checks for all of the seniors, juniors, sophomores, and freshmen. So basically, I met with the students one on one and we went over their schedule for the next year, and I looked at what credits they have already taken, and I made sure that the classes that they were wanting to take were the correct classes that they needed in order to make sure that they would qualify for graduation. So this was a great experience. I was able to interact with a lot of students, which I loved. I also met with students that wanted to meet with Jean, who was the head counselor and my mentor. These were students that wanted to have personal appointments with Jean, so he allowed me to take over that, and I met with them. And if it was things that I was able to handle myself, then of course I did. There was questions such as scholarship opportunities or questions about classes that they wanted to take. If there were situations or students that had issues that I personally couldn't handle myself, then of course I would ask Jean and we would work on it together with the student. Another responsibility that I have is I helped give presentations to students. So towards the beginning of this semester, there was presentations that needed to be given to the students in regards to future classes and how to sign up for their future courses. And so I helped the counselors give the presentations, which was a great experience for me. I also had different administration duties, such as creating a schedule for Jean, and I also updated all the scholarship opportunities. They had a file of all the scholarships, and I went through them all and made sure they were all current and up to date. How did I benefit the counseling department? So I made sure that I had a positive attitude every time I went into work. I wanted to make sure that I was upbeat and I gave a good impression because I wanted to make sure that I was always appeared to be in a good mood and, of course, ready to work. I also wanted to be and was reliable. Whenever there was something that was asked of me to do or a task to be completed, I made sure to complete it and in a reasonable time. I didn't want to drag anything out. I also didn't want to rush anything, but I also didn't want to take too long to complete tasks. I wanted to be an efficient intern, and I wanted them to look at me as someone that they could rely on getting the job done. I was also always willing to work. I didn't just sit in my office waiting for opportunities to come. Whenever I was done with a task, I made sure to go to a counselor and ask if there's anything that I could help them with, or if there's anything that I could do, because I wanted to make sure that I was always available for them to come to me, and if there's anything that I could do to help them. I always wanted to be willing to work. And I was also personable, and this was important to me. I wanted to make sure that I was had personal relationships with each of the counselors in the department. I wanted to be someone that was not only a good worker and reliable, but also someone that they enjoyed working with and brought a good attitude and good vibe to the office. I wanted the counselors to look at me as someone that is one of their own, and, just not only with the counselors, but also with the students that I was working with. I wanted the students to look at me as someone that was easy to talk to and someone that they could feel comfortable with. So, what did I personally get from this internship? So, I got many things from this internship. One of the important ones is basically getting an idea of what a high school counselor does. Being a high school counselor was initially the reason why I decided to go into this degree of marriage and family of counseling, because I wanted to be a high school counselor. So this was a perfect opportunity for me to really immerse myself and to ask all the questions that I wanted and to observe what exactly a high school counselor does and what the day-to-day activities of a high school counselor, of what they would be doing. So that was probably one of the far most beneficial things for me. Is it really made me realize that it was something that I was interested in, and gave me that good experience. I also gained empathy with this internship. With this internship, I dealt with a lot of students that came from many different backgrounds and many different home situations, and just from the few months that I was working there, I was able to realize that sometimes we don't know the full story of someone or what they're going through. So in short, it just gave me empathy for all the students and kind of what they're going through day to day. I also learned to be a team player. Working in a counseling department, you're working with, in my particular situation, 7 other counselors. So you really have to learn to be a team player to be able to look after, in this high school, there's about 4,000 students. So imagine 7 counselors with that many students. It's a big task. So you really have to learn to be a team player and help out wherever you can and cover for your counselors if, they are caught up with something else. I really learned to do that for my counselors and pretty much be there whenever they needed me to be. I also realized I loved working with students. That was one of the funnest things. Part of this internship was personally working one-on-one with the students and having that little relationship in that short amount of time period. And it made me realize that doing something with kids is something that I actually am interested in. So a connection that I had gained from this internship and the coursework that I have taken with this degree is, I kind of mentioned it before, but realizing in a lot of my coursework we talked about families and different family situations and how that can affect someone in their personal life. And like I mentioned before, I did dealt with quite a few different students that, as I was talking with them, with Jean, the other counselor, realized that they did not have a good home life, and either their parents are divorced and it's a messy divorce, or they had a sibling pass away, or they have suffered through anxiety and depression and just a lot of major different things. And a lot of it can stem from the home life. And so it just made me realize that we really need to be sensitive and careful of what we say and how we act around people. And basically, like I mentioned before, have empathy towards anyone that's kind of struggling through different things, because we don't know what they're going through. And it just made me realize how important it is to be in a career or be in a career that helps people. And that's why I loved this internship and being a high school counselor, because you really can affect students' lives. And I would definitely recommend this internship. I loved every single second of it. And it was a great opportunity for me to not only see what it's like to be a high school counselor, but in a counseling setting, and to use my degree and use what I learned in many of the classes that I have taken over the years for this degree. And if you are interested in having this kind of internship, contact your local public high school and just call the counseling department and see if there's an opportunity for you. It's rather simple and easy to do, and I'm sure they will love the extra help like my high school loved me having there. So that concludes this presentation, and I hoped this was informative for you.